Historically, chess must be classed as a game of war. Two players direct a conflict between two armies of equal strength upon a field of battle, circumscribed in extent and offering no advantage of ground to either side. The players have no assistance other than that afforded by their own reasoning faculties, and victory usually falls to the one whose strategic imagination is greater, whose direction of forces is more skillful, and whose ability to foresee positions is more developed. Harold Murray, 1913.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on, y'all? Y'all already see us on the screen. Like, share, subscribe, and the win between. Like, share, subscribe, and the win between. We active, man. Man, we locked in today, man. That's all I can say, man. We locked in today. Shout out to the members, man. Shout out to the members. Let's get this game going, man. We going straight acapella, man. We locked in. We gotta do some little practice. You know what I mean? Little practice. Practice make perfect, man. So, let's go. Let's go. I'll do a little hit the classroom one time. Hit the classroom one time, you know?
Hello everybody, I'm Jan Gustafsson. I'm a German chess grandmaster, and I would like to welcome you to my new video series, or I should probably say mini-series. It's a reasonably short series about how to deal with the four knights from the black perspective. The four knights I call the position occurring after e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, knight to c3, and knight to f6. Here's white to move, and depending on white's next move, the game can take on a very different character. The main line in my eyes is the so-called Scottish four knights d4, e takes d4, knight takes d4, which is very solid, where I hope I can give you a reasonably current, sharp and interesting idea to neutralize that one. And then there is the Spanish four knights based on bishop to b5, where once again I decided to play in the sharpest and most principled way. I believe the status here is pretty fine for black. And frankly, the Spanish four knights is the main reason I did this video series, because we recently published a video series by Laurent Fressinet on the Berlin, which I thought was very good. And I told him, don't worry about knight c3 here. I will cover the four knights eventually. So I thought,
Let's go back. I don't want to watch that. The Scottish four knights, right? Oh. So he's the person that, okay. Alright, opens. Alright, so let's go to lessons. Let me practice. We're gonna open this, right? I did the outcomes defense already, right? Let's practice. I forgot how it goes though. The outcome defense right here, right?
Today's video begins a series on Alyekin's defense. The opening, of course, takes its name from world champion Alexander Alyekin, who first played it in 1921 against Steiner and later against Samish. However, many other great players, including Fischer and Carlsen and Aronian, Nakamura and Ivanchuk, have included it as a surprise weapon in their repertoire. Alyekin's begins e4, knight to f6. This provocative knight move attacks the undefended e4 pawn and encourages it to advance, gaining space and pushing the knight around. Still, that attempt to gain space comes with the responsibility to defend that space, and that can be quite challenging and can lead to some spectacular collapses from the white pieces. I recommend Alyekin's for a player who is looking for a dynamic, rich, and varied struggle and doesn't want to take on the study of a ton of opening theory as you have in many more popular openings today. So in this video, we're going to get into the modern variation, which is one of the best options available to white and one of the most popular options, and we'll see how we can handle that from black and get an entirely playable and interesting position, and we'll see some traps along the way. So e5, now pushing the knight away, is played next. The knight needs to go to d5. Don't go for any of the other retreats, they're not good. After pawn d4, we get pawn d6, immediately challenging the e5 pawn. You definitely want to do this as soon as possible in basically every variation of the Alyekin's defense. You definitely want to don't go for e5. Now pushing the knight away is played next. The knight needs to go to d5. Don't go for any of the other retreats, they're not good. After pawn d4, We get pawn d6, immediately challenging the e5 pawn. You definitely want to do this as soon as possible in basically every variation of the Alyekin's defense, and you're often going to get an exchange here that is going to suck away some of white's space advantage and also result in some loss of time for white, who's pushed the e-pawn up the board. So the knight now comes to f3. This is the modern variation that this video is dedicated to. We should mention some alternatives to the most popular knight to f3. There is bishop c4, developing the bishop to chase the knight away. The knight can retreat with a gain of time and hit the bishop. The bishop pulls back. We can now take on e5. That's what we want to do as soon as we play d6. Now, white does have a trick not to be worse. Of course, if you took, then a trade of queens would be excellent for black. So we need queen h5, threatening almost mate here on f7. Pawn to e6 cuts off the bishop's attack of f7, and white has time to take the pawn back without allowing a trade of queens at this point. Still, this is a good position for black. You can provoke some weakness by threatening to trap this bishop over here on b3, a4, and now just try and play knight out to d7 and knight to c5 with an excellent position for black right out of the opening. So that neutralizes 4 bishop c4, an uncommon line, but you will get it from time to time. The other alternative that we want to mention here on move 4 is f4, and I get this a lot. So this is kind of like the 4 pawns attack, which we'll talk about later, light. It's not very good, and we can simply develop with bishop f5. Note that at this point, c4 is a big mistake because of the knight coming into b4 with big threats against c2. In general, white has the option to play c4 and push the knight away almost immediately when the knight puts itself onto d5. But if white delays c4 and then tries to go for c4 later, a lot of times knight b4, especially when the bishop is out on f5, will be a big problem and will be something that white doesn't have an adequate response to. So
when I'm watching that position right there, right? Remember what he said? Let's go back one time because I'm trying to explain
bishop
something.
f5
Like, if he comes
in this
here, right?
position, and after a developing move, we can trade pawns here,
Right?
play e6, and we're honestly already doing very well. We're at least equal as black in this position. c5 comes, knight c6 comes, we're chipping away at the center. Natural queen moves like queen b6 and then rook d8 are great, and we're going to put so much pressure on that white center. I really love playing these positions as black, and I get this a lot in blitz. So I know that's a lot of arrows, but and I get mostly on 5, c4,
exactly.
on
Right
the
here,
option to play
right
threats against
c2.
b4,
right?
In general, white has the option.
Why can't we go here? Why we can't go to b3 and protect that square? Because that's the front liver attack right here. But if we do the b3, if we go to a3, I mean, excuse me, we protecting that square. So why can't we do that? That would be my question if I had if I had somebody telling me why I can't make that move. Because he said it would be dangerous. But if you come here, I'm trying to understand it myself. If you come here, well, he could come here. That don't make sense. I could just take, and then then he takes, then I take. Then we're good off. We're better off. So I really don't understand that explanation.
Option to play c4 and push the knight away almost immediately when the knight puts itself onto d5. But if white delays c4 and then tries to go for c4 later, a lot of times knight b4, especially when the bishop is out on f5, will be a big problem and will be something that white doesn't have an adequate response to. So bishop f5 in this position, and after a developing move, we can trade pawns here, play e6, and we're honestly already doing very well. We're at least equal as black in this position. c5 comes, knight c6 comes, we're chipping away at the center. Natural queen moves like queen b6 and then rook d8 are great, and we're going to put so much pressure on that white center. I really love playing these positions as black, and I get this a lot in blitz. So I know that's a lot of arrows, but you'll like this position, I promise. Backing up, we're back to the main line with 4 knight to f3 instead of bishop c4 and f4 as we just looked at. Now, we're going to take on e5. This is my recommended line. You can also play bishop lays c4 and then tries to go for c4 later. A lot of times, knight b4, especially when the bishop is out on f5, will be a big problem and will be something that white doesn't have an adequate response to. So bishop f5 in this position, and after a developing move, we can trade pawns here, play e6, and we're honestly already doing very well. We're at least equal as black in this position. c5 comes, knight c6 comes, we're chipping away at the center. Natural queen moves like queen b6 and then rook d8 are great, and we're going to put so much pressure on that white center. I really love playing these positions as black, and I get this a lot in blitz. So I know that's a lot of arrows, but you'll like this position, I promise. Backing up, we're back to the main line with 4 knight to f3 instead of bishop c4 and f4 as we just looked at. Now, we're going to take on e5. This is my recommended line. You can also play bishop g4 or g6. These are popular alternatives, but I'm not going to cover them here. I think that they're worse than trading on e5, and I think that they're dangerous as well. They're objectively suspicious, and they can lead to a lot of very concrete tactical trouble. If you are white, though, you should be ready to meet bishop g4 and g6. So even though it's not within the scope of this video, do some research on your own, check it out in the Opening Explorer, and be ready to tackle that if you're using this opening video to prepare for the white side. After the trade on e5, it is possible for the pawn to take, but this is neither a popular or very good option. Simply playing bishop g4, creating a pin on the knight, is a good response, and the e5 pawn is much more likely to be a weakness than a strength. I think it's worth mentioning that you should not be afraid of pawn c4, because after the knight retreats, a trade of queens, even though it makes your king move over, is not really a problem. That trade is fine for black. You're entering an endgame where the e5 pawn's weakness is going to be a much bigger problem than the fact that your king had to move over to d8. That's going to be fine, and black can honestly be better there very easily. So instead, we get knight takes e5. Now, I want to talk about a famous story here that also leads us into the best theoretical move in this position. So,
listen, I don't know if I can remember everything he's saying. I'm trying my best to, but that's a lot. For me, that's a lot. But I'm trying my best to remember. You know, that's how I originally play. I might do a pin of the knight. I might do a whole bunch of things that he's saying, but it's a whole bunch of different sequences that he's talking about. So, you know, I understand it, of course, but you know, when it's game time, that's when it all counts.
after knight takes e5, there is the idea knight d7, trying to challenge this knight and create a trade, which would be great for black because white's lost a lot of time for this knight. So if it's just traded off, we're doing very well. This occurred in the game Tal versus Larsen. Mikhail Tal versus Bent Larsen, a world champion and one of the great Danes of all time. In this position, Tal fought for a long time and famously rejected the sacrifice knight takes f7. After the king takes, queen h5 check forces the king to e6 because you got to defend the knight on d5, and then we can simply play g3 for white, and we are doing fantastically. This has been played in a lot of correspondence games, and it is a disaster for black. So back in the position here on move 5,
H3 is dangerous.
After the knight takes, we are not ready to challenge the knight on e5 yet. Instead, a good move here is pawn to c6, which helps shore up our center and prepares knight to d7, challenging this knight. The pawn, in addition to giving our queen some scope, which is useful, in addition to supporting the center on d5, which is useful, also defends the d5 knight specifically so that knight d7 will no longer be dangerous, because after a potential queen h5 check, there will be no loose knight on d5 to defend, so sacrifices on f7 are covered. They're not something we have to worry about now, and we're preparing the knight to go to d7. At this point, white has a set of choices. White can move the bishop here to a number of squares: e2, d3, and c4. Those are basically the best options available to white. I want to mention, before we look at those bishop moves, one alternative that's not really good and is kind of an opening trap that white can fall into. There is pawn c4 chasing the knight away, And as I mentioned earlier, a lot of times if white doesn't play c4 right away and goes back to it around here, then the knight can actually be aggressive. We can hop into b4, and an opening trap I love is pawn a3, supernatural. We just attack the knight, and then black gets queen takes d4. A great move that hits the undefended knight on e5 and pockets a pawn. If the queen captures, of course, we have a royal fork here. The king moves. We pick up the queen on d4. We've grabbed an important central pawn, and we should be able to win this endgame with good play. So instead, white will avoid that, and after c6, develop this bishop. Now, there are a couple of choices, and I'm going to focus on the less effective ones first. If bishop c4, which is popular but not that effective because it stops c4 and it attacks a very secure knight here, I recommend immediately going knight to d7. Challenge this knight on e5. You can bring the knight over here in a lot of cases, and you can often gain b5 with an extra tempo. You're hitting the bishop and you play b5, and it's a good move to secure some extra space on the queen side and control the c4 square, making it hard for white to put a pawn on that square. The other bishop move that I want to mention here is bishop d3, and now I would change your plan a little bit. I like the move g6 here. g6 is a good move that gets ready to fianchetto this bishop. You do have a choice in a lot of these lines of whether or not you want to fianchetto the bishop or bring it out here. When the bishop is interfering with the queen's defense of d4, I think that pressure on this diagonal is more effective. So I recommend fianchettoing. Just bring out your bishop to g7, castle, and you get a very solid, reliable position as black. And there's not a lot of theory here, not a lot of games here. Nice, easy position to play. Finally, we do have bishop e2 from white, and this is the favorite move of grandmasters. It seems a little more passive than going to d3 or c4, but the bishop is neither in the way on e2, nor is it a target of tempos like the move pawn to b5, as it can be on d3 and c4. So this is probably the best square, even though it looks modest. Most grandmasters do play this way. After bishop e2, the most natural move is just bishop to f5, bringing out the bishop before we try to play pawn to e6. We don't want to lock that bishop in on c8 if we can avoid it. So after bishop f5, there are two options. I'm going to mention the simple one first, and then we'll get to the complex one recommended by Garry Kasparov. If white just castles, you're in a good position. Go ahead and play knight d7, challenge the knight on e5. Usually when you challenge that knight, it'll step back so that white's keeping more pieces on the board when white does have a space advantage to massage. You can play pawn up to e6, c4 can kick the knight can pull back here. Again, there's not a lot of theory here, and I'm actually going to stop in this position because there's not too much theory, and I think natural moves will give you a very reasonable position. Go ahead and bring out the bishop, go ahead and castle, put your pieces behind the center of the board, like rooks to e8 and d8, push some pawns, adapt to what white is doing, but your pieces can easily reach sensible squares and you get some pawn breaks, and you're doing fine as black here. You shouldn't be too concerned in this position. The alternative that is much more theoretical is to play pawn to g4, hitting the bishop on f5, which now needs to move. As I just said, this move has been recommended by Garry Kasparov, though I think black has good responses at this point. After the pawn attacks the bishop, you need to step back. e6 seems to be the best square. And if white just leaves the pawn on g4, we've really made an overextension for white. We haven't done anything. This is a case where, having said A, you have to say B. You've pushed one pawn and opened up your kingside castling position. You now need to push more pawns and try to really press black. Black does have to respond accurately, but we have the moves ready. After f4, we're going to try and kick the knight away on e5. If it retreats, we're doing quite well. So f5 is the best response for white, attacking the bishop on e6, and of course you really can't let white capture here and stick a bone in your throat on this e6 square. That's too much by far. So the bishop retreats, and now the knight needs to retreat. I think this is the key move to have ready if you get in this variation. Now we play pawn to e5, a bid for space in the center of the board, breaking things open, and it really should be white's king that is in more trouble than black's in this position. There are not a lot of games here, but there are a few correspondence games, and Black has done really, really well. And a deep analysis suggests that Black actually has the better chances from this position. I don't want to go more down this road.
I'll push the G4 pawn. Push the G4 pawn. Come up here, check. They push up here. I take. They take. Check. You know, but that's what I would do in that situation. But
if anyone ever does play 7g4 against you, be ready to pull the bishop back, kick their knight around, and then play e5 at the right moment to gain space in the center of the board and make the game really about White's exposed king more than yours. If you castle soon, you'll be doing fantastically as Black here, and meanwhile White is a long way from castling queenside and will not be happy in the center of the board or on the king side. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Please do tune into our future videos on other important variations in Alyekin's defense as we try to put together a repertoire that you can use in your games.
Alright, so we about to try to do some puzzle, right? Not puzzle, but about to start the Alekine defense and try to play it the best way we could. I just want to see how it starts off one more time.
Undefended e4 pawn and encourages it to advance, gaining space and pushing the knight around. Still, that attempt to gain space comes with the responsibility to defend that space, and that can be quite challenging and can lead to some spectacular collapses from the white pieces. I recommend Alyekin's for a player who is looking for a dynamic, rich, and varied struggle and doesn't want to take on the study of a ton of opening theory as you have in many more popular openings today. So in this video, we're going to get into the modern variation, which is one of the best options available to White and one of the most popular options, and we'll see how we can handle that from Black and get an entirely playable and interesting position, and we'll see some traps along the way. So e5, now pushing the knight away is played next. The knight needs to go to d5. Don't go for any of the other retreats. They're not good.
Let's start right now. All right. What? Hold on. All right. How does Sam recommend playing against the rare F F4? I forgot how. I thought it was different though. But I would oh, this is a different puzzle then. Different puzzle. Let me see if I can remember this. How does Sam recommend playing against the E? Nah, playing against the red F4. No. Oh, bring that into the game. That's what I would do. Take. Yeah, I forgot what you said. This one thing you gotta do. You gotta remember. You gotta remember what it is, right? I think bring a knight here. No. Yeah. That's what I would play. I don't remember what Sam said how Sam said he would play. You know what I'm saying? But all right. So now good start. How should you save your knight? Okay. Saving our knight. We can come back here. Yeah, you come here. Oh, that's not it. Man. Come here. Okay. How should you defend? Oh, let me put the box up too so I can see the box. Let me put the box up because people on the horizontal can't see the box. For anybody at all, man, we locked in though, man. We just locked in. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? That looks kind of what you call it. Probably could lighten it. Let me lighten it real fast. Make it look more professional. so y'all can see what the person's saying. If anybody watching it at all, but I do gotta lock it for myself, man. Cause I gotta get that bliss rating up, man. You hear me? Uh, how that look? That look better? I think a little bit better, right? That look better. Whatever. Okay. All right. How should black defend against the threat, right? What was the threat? D5? Uh, yeah, we don't want to, we should do, we don't want to block our king, you know. Is that it? Or we could come back here and attack that piece. But you gotta think about it. If you come here, what happened? What could they do? Could they come here? And then come here? So, oh, you might as well. I don't want to bring it in here. Then let's try here. I don't know. That's not it. So what it is? This got to be the move. I knew that was the move too, because we don't want to block in our piece. We don't want to block in our pawn. But I just, I thought that would be okay. Good start. What's next? They're not giving too much clues, man. Take this. If we take this, it's good because we can come up here, right? Why not? Why not? All right. Now I'm trying to remember. That's a good thing about this, though. You gotta remember what they said to do. We can push up here. That'd be a good move, right? Kick that piece. They come here. What else could we do? They threaten to checkmate. I remember it now, though. That's the good thing. I'm remembering this position. Me remembering that position is crazy because I know, like, okay, what did they say? I'm just trying to remember what they said I could do or what they said would be the best move. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I think they said come here. I think the only move you could make is to come here, but you're gonna lose that pawn. So is it a way to protect this pawn and not get checkmated? I don't think so. So I think the only move to make is this move right here, and let them and lose the pawn. Oh, that's not it. You can make a better move. Hmm. Probably did. Probably this. Oh, probably. No, no, we can't do that because you're gonna just lose the piece. Probably this. I don't know. Okay. Now I'm just looking at. Okay, right? Said good move. How should black threaten to trap a white piece? Right? How should black threaten to trap a white piece? Oh, that's enough. That's enough information for me, I think. Right? Push up here. What they do? Cause we push up here. I remember this too. I remember something like this. And I remember hey, he said Fee and Cat the Bishop. I remember that part, right? We gotta move this. I think we gotta move this. And try to Fee and Cat the Bishop. But we can try to kick this first, no? So I think it's this. No, it's might not be a Negro. Damn. Trying to remember. I'm trying to remember. Okay, come here. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember this. I don't remember this one. What changes when I do this? It does. Uh, Probably come here. Yeah, I don't know the answer to this one right here. I might take the hint. I might take the hint. Let me take the hint real fast. Oh, try to trap piece. Okay. Oh yeah. Now I remember it. Now I remember it. Once we make this move, they come down here. See, I remember that. I remember that. Right? Because they don't want to get trapped. So you come here, right? And they come here. Exactly. Right? What can happen? What can white play to spark a strong attack? What can white play to spark a strong attack? Bam, bam. I'm doing this in a regular game. I'm ready. I'm doing this in a regular game. You know what I mean? I'm ready doing this in a regular game for real. Like that's how I normally play. I already know that. That's like a puzzle right there. Let's go though. But in a real game, there's certain tactics that I see that Grandmaster see that I don't see. You know what I'm saying? How should black prevent mating on F7? Right here, F7, mating F7, come here. I see that way. What else way they got? You can push up here, but then we don't want to do that because they can come here, and that's a bad look. Then they'll have to push up here, and they can come here, and then that. No, that's a bad look. So what we're gonna have to do is definitely not this move. I don't think. I think the best move to do is this. Am I wrong? Yeah, I'm wrong. Dang. Is this move? But that look dangerous. It can't be this move. Yeah, that's not that move. Like I'm saying, it's not that move. What else they got? Oh, okay, okay. Let's do this. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, that good. That's good too. All right. White has tried the risky G4 move. How should black save the bishop? How should black save the bishop, right? How should black save the bishop? No, it's not this. 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 You're gonna block in here. So you might as well just come back on right here. Right? So we gotta look for tactics. That's the problem with me. I'm not looking for tactics. We could even push this up too. You can even push that up, right? I think that's the move right there. I think that's the move that was recommended. Uh, I think we could push. No, no, not really, not really. No, I think that was the move that was recommended though. I'm just trying to remember. No, that's not the move. The best move to make is this. No. Hmm. Interesting. You come here. They push up here. Okay, okay, we can sack this. No, no, we can't. Save the. When they say save the bishop, I'm thinking of saving the bishop from being captured. This is also an option because for me, both of them are worth 3 points, but that's not considered to me saving the bishop. So, see, I'm just thinking like, whatever, man. All right, let's start. What should black play to obtain a counterplay? I would play this move right here, right? Probably this. Okay, this is a good tool. That look even. Oh, we can just push. We can push this. I don't know what. Okay, let's push this. Let's push this up. Okay. Good work. How should you save the bishop? Uh, man. Wow. We ain't getting that right. All right. So what's next? Good move. How should black fight in the center? How should black fight in the center? This is the only way to fight in the center. No. Oh, hold up, hold up. Oh, that's not even it. What I'm talking about. How should black fight in the center? All right. So this puzzle different. Mm. Because if we push up here, take, take. Let's how was that? Oh, I don't get it. Let's complete it for real. I didn't learn nothing, yo. Yo, I ain't learned nothing. You heard me? That's crazy. That's crazy right there, man. That's crazy, man. Finish? Really? I don't think I finished, man. But whatever. Now that's the Alacon defense, right? We're gonna do a what you call it? A lesson, not a lesson, but what you like to call it? Practice, training, right? We're gonna train for it, right? Uh, train the openings, Alacon defense, right? Practice. We're gonna do practice on it, right? Okay. What? What was that? Oh, it's intermediate. I guess we take. And what we doing right now when we playing this game, we looking at the annotations. We looking at E5 is the best move and make sure we make all the right best moves, right? E6 is the best move. Of course, I'll say this probably is the best move. We gotta kill either this or this because we can't try to protect this. If we try to protect this, then there's too much pieces. And that piece is lost anyway. So we got which one's the best way to take? I think the best way to take is probably. I really don't want to take here because I don't want him to develop his bishop and gain control of that long diagonal. So I'm gonna just come here and see if that's the best move. Ah, he said F something was the best. Okay, and what we want to do is this. Come here, I guess. Bishop, which call it the best? I think here's the best. They come down here. I come up here, right? Uh, And will that piece get trapped? No, that piece won't get trapped. All right, so let's just be easy. Let's come here. G3. I listen. I felt that same way. G3 is the best, right? But let's just not really follow what the computer's saying because we're really not following the computer. We're just trying to make the moves on our own time, right? Okay, attacking that piece. Okay, let's probably come here and here. Come here. Oh, they made that move with the quickness. So what's next? Come here, probably attack that piece right there. Come here. Right, we got the fork right there. That's a good look. So we could take this fork. That would be decent, right? Or we can even get out the way, then fork. What should we do? I think it's best to trade off because we're gonna be up a significant amount of material. Okay. Before taking, we gotta see if there's any other moves we can make. I don't think so, so we're gonna take that. All right, so he's attacking that piece. Do I want him to take that piece? We could have him take that piece and just get out of the way. Or we could even, let's see. Nah, I ain't ready for him to take that piece yet. Ah, I think we have to come here. Okay, that helped me out a lot. I get to get a better trade off. Uh, take that. Come here. Hmm. Let me come here. Right? What if we kill this, right? They come here. We come here. If they come here, we get a fork, right? Right? If they come here, we don't get a fork, right? Because, all right, we're going to have to reroute our knight. Right? So now, come here. Come here. Don't want to block our piece. Okay, that was a mistake. It just allowed me to develop, right? Let's castle, king side castle. Let's we take, if we come here, right? Come here. Okay. Okay, I don't got no problem with that. I ain't gonna lie to you. No problem with that at all. All right. He took that with the quickness. He moved it. I was gonna try to fork and get a fork going. But let's just push. Let's just push. right? So we're gonna have to say I almost forgot about everything else. Say we come here. Now we gotta analyze this game. Now we gotta analyze this game. Let's analyze it and see how we play. Cause the Alacon defense really, you know, that was nowhere near the Alacon defense. Right?
You grabbed a piece in the opening and never looked back.
They said I played a 2100. I don't know, like I know it was easy to play, but I didn't take none into consideration because I forgot most of the openings that they was telling me to make. I mean, the way his style of play, you know what I'm saying? Uh, so we did the Alacon defense. Let's see what we got next. 93.7, right? They played 82.3. All right, let's go. Let's go for the next one, right? Next little lesson, right? I'm gonna have to start writing down all the lessons I took so I can remember it, right? I have to start writing down all the lessons I took. Mm. I'll be back. Write it down. Got an idea. So far, we did the Alacon defense. Now let's move on to the next one. Right? Next one, you know. Let's go. Let's go. Go for the next one.
You calmly step the pawn out of trouble. You grabbed a piece in the opening and never looked back. You calmly step the pawn out of trouble. You grabbed a piece in the opening and never looked back. Your opponent ignores the attack on their knight, so you can win it now.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
You captured a vulnerable knight. They bring out their knight, increasing their control over the center. That was an even swap of material. Their recapture simultaneously brings the queen into play. This blocks the check from the queen. They are right on target. Good job defending that pawn. Decent move, but
See, look,
they are right on target. This blocks the check. They are right on target.
they said this was the best move. I remember. If I remember clearly, they said that was the best move, right? I wonder if we could get them to explain it,
This
though.
blocks the. They are. Good job defending that pawn.
Oh, they said that's the best move. I want to see the best move, right?
Good awareness keeps the pawn alive here.
That's the best move. Oh. They said G3. Okay, okay.
They
I
are
see, I
right
see.
on target. Good job defending that pawn. Decent move, but they had a better one. By moving here, you reveal an attack on the queen. This move puts their queen on a safer square. Nice development that allows kingside castling next move. That's playable.
Okay.
Developing the knight and increasing influence in the center.
Okay.
This central challenge forces you to react in the middle.
Yep, I could have went here. Did I? I went here, right? Attack that piece. And I was going to fork. Did I get the fork?
Precise move from your opponent. You are forcing your opponent to have isolated doubled pawns, which ruins their structure. A clear, nice, their kings, they've moved their knight closer to the center to boost its activity. Nice, definitely the right move. They offer a fair trade of pieces. Trading pieces keeps things simple.
That's not a mistake, but they did not find the best move here. You captured a knight that checked your king. They recaptured a piece from an earlier exchange. Nice move, your knight now controls more squares. They attacked your knight, gaining time as it must move away. You calmly step the knight out of trouble. I like their choice. Very good choice. Uh-oh. A discovered attack from your opponent targets your knight. Getting out of danger was the right call. They move their king out of the check from your knight. This is a good time for you to get out of trouble. They kick your knight with a pawn, forcing it to move or be captured. You found a safer square for your knight, moving their bishop to a better position. Well done, an excellent move. They exchange pieces of equal value. You use the recapture to develop another. They move their king out of the check from your bishop.
I should have long castle. No, not long castle. I did the right castle.
Your rook takes an open file, a good way to activate the rook. They kick your bishop with a pawn, forcing it to move or be captured. By moving here, you reveal an attack on the bishop. The bishop slips away as your opponent avoids material loss. Your rooks are one step closer to working together powerfully. This pawn push confronts your center and changes the structure. You exchange. Your opponent activates their last piece. You cap. Their rook occupies the 7th rank, aiming to restrict your piece activity. By posing a counter threat, you're turning the pressure back onto your opponent. This move gives you the opportunity to win their bishop. You captured that free bishop. They played one of the best moves here. Your opponent has to watch that passed pawn.
They should have went back. They should have went back on what you call it? E8.
This move doesn't help their position at all. Your passed pawn advances to its goal. They made one of the top moves in this position. Your passed pawn. Your move gets closer. Your opponent created a passed pawn, giving it a. You're still on the road to checkmate. Their passed pawn moves closer to promotion, becoming more dangerous.
Did I take that pawn?
You're
Oh,
continuing down the road to checkmate.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's all.
They played this. You did it. Nice checkmate.
All right. What's next, man? That's the Alacon defense. That's the Alacon defense right there. So we might do I'll say we'll do one puzzle a day. One puzzle, not day, but one puzzle a stream. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm about to, I'm about to activate my chat box, man. I'm gonna end this one. This gonna be the Alacon defense. The Alacon defense. Gonna go into the archives and the playlist. You know, that was very informative. I just couldn't maintain the. I couldn't remember everything they said, but they said I played like a 90. What they said, I played a 90.
You grabbed a piece in the opening and never looked back.
No mistakes. So that's good. No mistakes. I played a 93, so that's not bad. 2100 was my game rating. So I did something right. I guess I wasn't making no mistakes at all. So it is what it is. Again, I'm about to come back live probably in an hour. Come back live, a regular live. Everything gonna be activated. The chat box gonna be activated, man. If anybody active, y'all gonna see me. Just tap in with me, man. But we over for this one right here. We coming right back probably in an hour or so. 8 a.m. 8 p.m. 9 p.m. One of those. Y'all already know what to do. Really ain't nothing new. Y'all already see us on the screen. Like, share, subscribe. Ain't no in between. All right, y'all. Peace out. Be right back.